Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another UFC episode of the JuiceBox presented by Lock City, where we are escaping reality one lock at a time. Today, of course, you got myself, Munz and Wighty on the mic, and we're going to be going over UFC Fight Night 251. We got Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. Main card starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. I took a peek at this card. It's not the best. It's not my favorite, but there are some good fights, and we'll definitely go over all the ones on the main card. Whitey, how you feeling about this card?
Yeah, same sort of consensus as you. Definitely not my favorite card in the last little while. Not bad for a fight night. A couple of sleepers. I think there's a couple that could probably go either way. I know you and I are going to be split on a couple here, so we'll find out shortly. But a lot of close fights, a lot of unproven guys against a lot of battle-tested veterans. So we'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, all right. First fight, we got Rodolfo Vieira and Andre Petroski. I think is Andre Petroski. Who did he just knock out recently? Sorry, he got knocked out last year by Jacob Malkoun. That's what I was thinking about. Anyway, we got a nice middleweight bout to start off the main card. It should be a pretty good fight, honestly. We got Rodolfo coming into this one. He's 10-2, 5-2 in the UFC since joining in 2019, and he's coming off a round one submission against Armen Petroisian, which is pretty impressive. And he's actually on a 2-fight win streak, with that second win being against Cody Brundage, I believe. So
Yep.
he's been going up against somewhat well-known names in the UFC, very recognizable by casual fans, I would say, like Armen Petroisian and Cody Brundage. Any casual would recognize those two names. The guy's a submission artist with 9 out of 10 wins coming from submission, including the last two. So obviously something to take into consideration there. Andre Petroski, he's 12-3, 7-2 in the UFC. He's also coming into this one on a 2-fight win streak after losing 2 back-to-back. So we had a nice little rebound there. He's feeling some momentum. And when he joined the UFC, the guy went on a 5-win streak, like taking it by KO, submission, and decision. Like very well-rounded. They're both pretty equal in terms of height and reach. I think Rodolfo will be looking to take this one to the ground, but like he should be pretty weary about that because Petroski can get it done in any fashion, and that includes on the ground. So I'm a bit undecided on this one personally. How about yourself?
Yeah, I went back and forth. Sorry, on this one a good amount. At first, I was going with Rodolfo Vieira. I've since flipped that. I'm actually going to go with Andre Petroski on this one. I definitely could see this fight going either way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. I mean, I don't love Petroski's wins over Bucka and Josh Fremd. I don't think those are super convincing. That TKO loss to Jacob Malkoun, not exactly exciting.
Yeah.
He got KO'd prior to that, Michel Pereira. But before that, I mean, he was streaking. He's 2 years younger. They have literally identical height, identical reach. 2-year age difference. This one, it's going to be a close fight. I think obviously Rodolfo's got the advantage on the ground. If he takes him down, I mean, clear path to victory for Rodolfo that way. I think if the fight stays standing and we go to a decision, things could get interesting. And I'm giving the edge to Petroski on the decision. I really like the odds on that overall. Petroski on the money line is 3.25 times, or plus 225. I think there's pretty good value there for something that I'd see as being relatively close to 50-50. So for that reason, I'm going to take the juice. I'm going to go Petroski on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going against you just mainly because of the fighters that Rodolfo has been up against. Yeah, man, I don't know. Submission win against Armen Petroisian and against Cody Brundage. It's not something to take lightly, in my opinion. So I think I'm going Rodolfo. I'm sticking with the Brazilian power for this one.
Alrighty. First one split. Yeah, we'll see who takes this one. It'll be a pretty interesting fight.
Yeah, it should be very close. Closer than what the odds are saying, like you said. So definitely some good value in Petroski. Like anything can happen in this sport, bro. Anything can happen. One punch can change the whole fight.
Yep.
Okay, so next one we have in the lightweight division. Pretty sure it's one of two brothers here that are both fighting on the same event. Ismail Bonfim comes into this one being 20-4, 2-1 in the UFC since winning his contract from Contender Series. He needs this one. He does need it. He's pretty well-rounded. Can take it in any fashion. He's coming off a win in his last, but he does need this one, I think, personally, if he wants to still be in consideration for staying on the UFC roster. Nazim Sadikov is 9-1-1. He's 2-0-1 in the UFC. Both of his wins are coming from a finish, KO and submission, and obviously went to decision in his draw in his most recent fight. He lost his first professional fight, and this guy has gone undefeated since. It's this. Yeah, I don't know. This guy's weird. Not weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's another pretty sketchy one. I guess most notable win is probably that sub over Terrence McKinney, which I don't think is super battle tested.
No, not really.
Ishmael Bonfim, he had that bad submission loss to Benoit Saint-Denis. I mean, at that time, Benoit Saint-Denis was viewed differently than he is now. At that point in time, I think he was up and coming, almost title conversation. People were expecting him to kind of fly through the division there. Obviously, consensus has since changed. They both have a win over Terrence McKinney. Ismail Bonfim TKO'd him back in January of 2023. Nazim Sadikov, he subbed him in July of 2023. They both beat him in the same year. That's probably the best comp that we have there. I don't know. When in doubt, I'm giving it to the guy with, I know he's not Russian, but Russian-sounding last name. He's from Azerbaijan. So I'm going Nazim Sadikov here.
We're split on this one. I mean, I'm crazy for doing it, but do the odds still have Ishmael as the favorite here? Let me pull this up real quick.
They do, yeah. Nazim Sadikov was plus 190 as of this morning. Slight underdog. 184. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. This.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say this is another one I find juice on. Another same sort of thought process as the last one. I see it as close to 50-50. I'm going to take where I can get more money on it. I'm going to go Nazim Sadikov. I don't think he'll finish him, but I'd see it by decision most likely.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be looking for a finish, as he usually does. But I don't think it will come as easy as he thinks. Like, the guy has gone undefeated since his first loss, and they've come from KO submission. And I think he had one decision win in there, too.
2020. Yeah, that was his last... the
guy's a beast.
Last decision win.
Yeah, the guy's a beast, but he has a slight height advantage. I don't think that'll be a big factor in this. Ishmael has the reach advantage. I think that's gonna be the biggest factor in this fight, and most likely play to his benefit. I'm taking Ishmael. I'm going with another Brazilian for this one, man.
Alrighty, 2 Brazilians
split
down.
Again. And I think we're split on this next one coming up too. We got Edmund Shahbazyan and Dylan Budka.
We are, as far as I know.
Yeah, Edmund is 13-5-0. He's 6-5 in the UFC. Most of his wins have come from KO TKO, 11 of them, with the other 2 being submission and decision. Although he does come into this one off a loss in his last, he lost in submission. Dylan Budka, although a bit more underwhelming, he's 7-4 professionally with a 0-2 record in the UFC since winning the Contender Series. His record in the UFC speaks for itself. It's make or break for this guy. He's in desperate need for a win if he wants to stay on the roster in the promotion. Yeah, I'm going with Dylan just purely because of what's on the line for him.
Alrighty, I like that. Yeah, Dylan, I'm not overly convinced on Dylan Budka. His first Fight Night appearance last April, he got KO'd by Cesar Almeida. He lost the decision to Andre Petroski in September of last year. Yeah. I mean, Edmund, not overly impressive either. He's got that sub loss to Gerald Michart. I think it was triangle choke, if I remember correctly. Neither of these 2 guys are overly impressive fighters. I agree with what you said. Obviously, Budka, he needs the win here. I don't really see his path to victory necessarily. KO, I guess, if he potentially comes out swinging. But I don't know. I'm all over Edmund Shahbazyan on this one. I think Edmund takes it.
I mean, he very well could. He's the more seasoned UFC fighter, right? He's been around for a bit. But I don't know. It's make or break for Dylan Budka. So we might see him.
Yeah, it's going to be a sketchy card.
Swing in, maybe he knocks him out first round. That'd be sick.
He might. When's the last time he got a KO win?
Let's see. Let's see. He probably doesn't have.
Never. Not in the UFC. He's got one on B2 Fighting Series against Jet Jones back in 2022.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, nothing.
A knockout's not going to come from him. But you never know. One punch can change everything. Like I said, you never know. But doubtful. All right. Co-main event. We have a pretty good one here for featherweight. These light boys. Calvin Kattar and Yusuf Zalal. Or Calvin Cutter. Always forget how to pronounce his last name. Anyway, Calvin comes into this one being 23-8-0. He is 7-6 in the UFC. Guys, this man is on a 3-fight losing streak. The UFC is clearly not shy of cutting fighters, especially as of lately, and this may be the case for him if he loses this one. And going up against someone like Yusuf Zalal, yeah, I don't know, man. The guy's 16-5-0. Yusuf Zalal is 3-0 in the UFC, obviously on a 3-fight win streak, and he finished all his opponents by submission. Guy's a beast.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're aligned on this one. I'm going Yusuf Zalal. He's been flying through his competition as of recently. I think his last 4 wins in the UFC, or at least the last 3, have all come via submission. 2 rear naked chokes for sure, maybe a triangle choke in there. And then on the inverse, I mean, I like Calvin Kattar. I think he's obviously a good fighter. He's obviously battle tested. He's been around forever. But yeah, those last 3 losses, he lost to Josh Emmett by decision. Mm-hmm. The Arnold Allen one, he just got injured. He blew out his knee or whatever it was. I think it was ACL tear. Halfway into round 2, or maybe not even halfway into round 2. So I'm not going to fault him for that one. And then he lost that decision to Aljo. He went all 5 rounds, I think that fight was, maybe 3 rounds, but he went the distance with Aljo. I don't see him getting past Yusuf Zalal. I mean, Yusuf Zalal is way more determined. He's up and comer. He wants his title shot. I think he could probably do well in this division. If he wins this, he's obviously getting ranked. We have Calvin Kattar is... he's in the top 10, is he? I think he's 10th in the featherweight division. So, I mean, if Yusuf Zalal wins this one, he's obviously going to be top 15. Yeah. Gives him a couple of ranked fights going forward. I think there's much more incentive. Calvin Kattar, obviously, he doesn't want to get cut. He's lost 3 in a row. 4 in a row is not going to do him very well, but I think this is a matchup from hell for him. I don't see him getting past Yusuf Zalal.
Yeah, I agree. It is a matchup from hell for him. It's kind of like the matchmakers set it up on purpose just so they can have a reason to cut him. Feels like that. But yeah, like I said, the guy's been on a tear in his 3 fights before the UFC. 3 fights joining the UFC. I don't think Calvin Kattar is going to stop him here. I got to go with the favorite in Yusuf Zalal.
Yep, I could see an early finish. I could see a decision. I'm going to play it safe on this one. Probably just use it as a parlay piece on the money line. I don't think I'm going to get fancy on this with any sort of method. Could go a variety of ways.
Your safest bet would be double chance, submission or by points, right?
I would think so.
That'd probably be your safest bet if you wanted to go for something on the finish and get slightly better odds on the money line. But yeah, I think he takes it. Yeah, I think he finishes it by submission. I do. But you're right. The smartest bet to take is the money line bet. Put it as a parlay piece. All right, it's time for the main event of the evening. Jared Cannonier and Gregory Rodrigues. Jared Cannonier comes into this one being 17-8-0. He is 10-8 in the UFC since joining in 2015. He is on his 10th year of being with the promotion. Although he does come into this one off 2 losses, and he will definitely be looking for a rebound. The Killer Gorilla needs a win big here. RoboCop Gregory Rodrigues, though, is 16-5. I believe he's 7-2 in the UFC. Clearly, this guy loves to KO his opponents. He has 10 of them coming from KO, TKO, and he's currently on a 3-fight win streak coming into this one.
Yeah, I'm leaning heavily toward RoboCop on this. At first, I had Cannonier, but he's old. He's 40. He's almost turning 41 here. He's obviously past his prime. He had those 2 wins. He had that decision win over Strickland, then a decision win over Vettori before that Dolidze bout got canceled. Mm-hmm. Lost to Mavov. He got KO'd. He went to decision with Barallo, but he lost that. So he's on a 2-fight loss streak. His last win in the UFC hasn't come in almost 2 years, since June of 2023. Seeing these two guys on the scale, Gregory Rodrigues looked like he was just towering over him. I mean, he's 6'3" compared to 5'11". Believe it or not, Cannonier actually has the reach advantage. He's got a 2.5-inch reach advantage, 77.5 inches compared to 75 with RoboCop. But I mean, you can't discredit RoboCop in any way, shape, or form here. He's coming off those wins. He TKO'd Brad Tavares. He TKO'd Christian Leroy Duncan. I think we're probably going to see another KO here. It's going 5 rounds. Obviously, Cannonier's done that more than Gregory Rodrigues has, so we don't really know how those late stage rounds are going to go. But I honestly don't even think we're going to get there. I think they're both going to come out swinging. Cannonier wants the win. Cannonier looked absolutely ripped on the scales, probably the best shape that I've seen him in. He just looked absolutely shredded. But RoboCop he's got almost 4 inches on the guy. On the scales, he looked way more intimidating than Cannonier looked. Cannonier's coming off those 2 losses. Rodrigues coming off of 3 wins. I'm giving it to Rodrigues.
Yeah, I mean, Rodrigues is pretty shredded himself. Myself, this one kind of feels like another fight where they're setting up Cannonier for failure. Bro, the guy's in great trouble in this fight going up against RoboCop. I think RoboCop takes it easy. He's a beast on a 3-fight win streak. All the momentum is in this guy's corner. He's got the height advantage, like you said. I don't think the reach advantage is going to play any factor for Jared Cannonier. Yeah, with RoboCop, I think we see him get the knockout in this one as well.
Alrighty, so we got 2 the same, 3 different. We're split on Vieira Petrosky. We're split on Bonfim and Sadikov. We're split on Edmund and Budka. Yeah, and then we're the same on Zalal and same on Rodrigues.
Hey, bro, I got to do what it takes to take that title from you. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel you. I think those first 3 could go either way, and we're definitely going to see a winner here. There's no path for us to be split on this. I mean, with 3 fights differently and 2 the same, somebody's got to come out on top. So this is going to be an exciting card.
100%. But I tilled both of our picks, so either way, we're coming out a winner.
Likewise.
All right, guys, if you haven't already, you want picks firsthand, first come, join us, wap.com/LockCity. We do not have any sales going on right now, but you never know. One could pop up. You never know, so keep your eye out on that. And stay safe, stay warm. Anything you want to add in there, Wighty?
I don't think so. Just looking forward to an exciting card, and then obviously the next couple of subsequent weeks, it only gets more exciting from here. So stay tuned to those future pods, and have a great day, everybody.
Sounds good. From everyone here at Lock City, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one.